President Yahya Jammeh seized power in 1994 and returned the peanut producer to constitutional rule 2 years later when he ran as a civilian and won a presidential election. A failed attack on the presidential palace in Banjul has led to a crackdown in which dozens have been arrested. Mai Ahmad Fati is the leader of one of the Gambia's political parties, the Gambia's Moral Congress. Mr. Fati has been visiting Ghana and has agreed to be with us in the studio this afternoon. Hello, good afternoon, sir, and many thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can I say welcome to Ghana once again? Is in
Thank you
order,
very
right?
much. Thank you.
How is the situation like currently in Gambia?
It's very dicey. December 30th, a number of Gambian dissidents attempted to overthrow the government. It did not succeed. Subsequent to that, there is a massive arrest going on throughout the country. Virtually, the Gambia has been turned into a semi-war zone. There are proliferation of roadblocks everywhere. Families have been arrested. People who are remotely connected in one way or another to the alleged coupists in one way, in any form whatsoever, have been arrested. Mothers, sisters, uncles, friends, anybody who has any kind of filial family link to any of the coupists are all being rounded up. Even Gambians who are flying have had their trips cancelled and over 24 hours in order to be interrogated. So right now the situation is very tough in the country.
Okay. Do you think dialogue is a way forward currently, considering the situation in the Gambia right now?
Well, dialogue is only effective when you have a partner.
Okay.
We have always supported and toward the part of a dialogue, but we have no dependable partner at the table. Okay. We would like to speak to our government so that we can find an amicable, a more effective and durable solution out of the current national quagmire. But we are at the table. President Jammeh is absent. Okay.
So is President Jammeh that is not at the other side to listen to you?
Of course, we have always opened our doors. We are always very responsive. Okay. President Jammeh has said that the opposition, is Western backed, and that the opposition is unpatriotic. The opposition is satanic. He gives us all kinds of adjectives. And he said he is not going to work with us. He had, in fact, has renewed this barely 24 hours ago. He does not want to work with the opposition and does not want to talk to us. So we have our hands tied.
Okay. Your country has one of the most stable economies in the region. How are you going to get your country back to that track?
Our country was one of the most stable economies in the region because, as you rightly indicated, at the time of the coup, the Gambia was our tax base was very expansive. Our liquidity was quite stable. We had implemented one of the most comprehensive, successful reform programs in the entire Africa, for that matter. In fact, our reform programs was used as a case study in Harvard and other countries. So the Gambia was phenomenally doing extremely well. Then came this, nightmare of over 2 decades that we have had. For us to get back to this track, we have to toward a political solution, because there is no other solution to the Gambian crisis other than a political solution. And it has to be a democratic and open democratic solution. What we're saying is President Jammeh must respect the constitution of the land. Most importantly, he has to respect his own oath of office to obey and implement the constitution and other laws of the Gambia. If he does this, we shouldn't be here talking about his regime.
Okay. Your human rights record has come under scrutiny. Don't you think that the opposition might have contributed to that?
Oh, I beg to disagree.
Okay.
Human rights situation becomes an issue only. It's a question of power. Who is holding power? Is it the opposition or the government? Do I have authority to get anybody arrested? Do I have authority to dictate to the judiciary? Do I have the authority to flout the constitution? I have no powers. When we talk about human rights, we are talking about a system. We are talking about the government. It is the government that continually, with impunity, violates the basic fundamental rights of every single Gambian. And that has been the situation for over 2 decades. So the question of human rights is, in fact, beyond our borders now. It has become an extra-frontier matter. Because ECOWAS, in 2011, ECOWAS secretariat decided to withdraw its observer mission in the Gambia elections because they have concluded that the final results of that election is nothing but fraudulent. So ECOWAS, even the regional organization, has delegitimized the presidency. Beyond that, the African Union itself, and there has been numerous resolutions by the African Human Rights Commission, which is headquartered in Gambia, and they have repeatedly held the Gambia government fully accountable for human rights violations. The ECOWAS court, the Gambia is the country with the most litigation at the ECOWAS court. And all of these decisions have concluded that the Gambia government is wrong and is violently treating its own people. The United Nations Human Rights Commission, all these are things. Our own courts, I have defended cases to the highest level in which the clear decisions of the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court of the Gambia affirming, ruling that the Gambia government has violated its own citizens' rights. So this is a matter, it's a systematic issue. It is, the whole world is aware of this. Even the European Union currently has suspended its cooperation with the Gambia government, and we have over 60 million euros that are now suspended worth of development aid. The United States has kicked us out of AGOA. I mean, we have become a pariah nation. We have become the ISO of West Africa. This has been Gambia's record. People have been killed, enforced disappearances. I, myself, am facing threats to my life. I mean, every day anything could happen. So we are living in a jungle where no laws are respected. President Jammeh, he is the man. He is the law. What he says is the law. What he does is the law. He is not accountable to anyone, to no authority. He is a dictator. Dictator of the classical example. That's what we have in the Gambia. In the Gambia, people are bleeding. And that is why, if you close all avenues to the people, especially the official opposition, you are opening a floodgate for the unofficial opposition. And that is what we have. And that is what led to July 30th. Because Gambians have become frustrated with any prospect of change democratically. And so they felt that since the alternative process is failing, then, some people thought the only way is to use violence, which we condemn.
Okay. So we blame the government totally? Opposition doesn't have a role to play in all this?
The opposition is weak, and it is intentionally weak by the state. Because why? I am here in Ghana. I'm speaking at Ghana TV.
Yes.
I've only appeared on my own television station in my own country. Not like this, but only because I was contesting presidential elections, and they were covering a campaign and for a 30 minutes period. Beyond that, the Director General of the Gambia TV station is not crazy. He dare not invite me to the station because he will be arrested from his office and taken straight to prison. No opposition party leader has appeared before Gambia television, let alone radio or anywhere else. All those are locked. We have no access to media. We cannot sell our information. We are left in a total darkout. The press, Gambia is the worst haven for press operation in the continent. So obviously the opposition is weak by design because the government knows that a strong opposition is the greatest bastion of democracy, and it is ready to associate it and to demarcate it. President Jammeh has been working on this policy for the past 2 decades, and he will not change.
Okay, so have you been speaking to ECOWAS about this? And what is ECOWAS saying about happenings in Gambia, the Gambia?
Of course, I had told you earlier that the ECOWAS Commission itself has heavily documented rights violations in Gambia. They are also aware that the Gambia government has violated every protocol. So this is why they refused to endorse our elections in 2011. They withdrew. And up to date, the Gambia government is considered a pariah state. Even within ECOWAS, we have no respect in the region. Our national integrity is at its lowest. We need to redeem our sovereign dignity. The Gambia must get back on its feet, and we must belong to a community of nations as a civilized country. The only way to get to that done is we have to change this government.
Okay. So at this point, are you thinking of forming a united opposition group?
We've been working on it. But even there are challenges. As you know, we had a second round, like in the case of Ghana and in many other countries. President Yahya Jammeh decided to eliminate this provision in the constitution, so it becomes simple majority. If the opposition combined are able to garner at least 70% of the votes combined together, I mean individually but combined votes, and he is able to get only 30%, he is going to become elected. So that so we don't have a chance for a second round, simple majority. Now what is happening is that we are trying to see how we can get together, as the opposition. This is why the last parliamentary elections, the opposition was pushed out. We did not participate at parliamentary elections because we were united in that there has to be comprehensive electoral reforms without which we cannot have free and fair elections. Listen, if the processes leading towards an election are not free and fair, the results of that election cannot be fair. And that is what we have in the country. And that is why the opposition is laboring on the Herculean task, and we are in an impossible situation. But we are doing our best, and we are confident that we will take over our country.
Anyway, thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon. Mr. Mai Ahmed Fati is a leader of one of the Gambia's political parties, the Gambia Moral Congress, speaking to us about happenings currently in the Gambia.